Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and I'm joined by Felix and Xeon because...
Hello!
Because we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct, the Switch 1 Direct that just happened. There was no update on Nintendo Switch 2, but they did mention it very briefly
They did.
in passing. So that's exciting, but that's not how they opened with it. How they opened with it? That doesn't make any sense. That's not what they opened with it with.
I was very surprised
Blah,
with
blah, blah,
what they
blah.
opened with, though.
Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
This
was
is,
announced previously, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think this was the first look at it, right, Felix?
Yeah. Previously, it was only like, oh, we know it's coming. And now it's proper look and there's a new character. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. I haven't played the originals. I've played some of the third one. That was quite good. I'm hoping that they run a little bit better on Switch 2. Whenever that comes out, because right now I'm playing through Octopath Traveler on the PlayStation 5, and like the difference of the Switch version and the PlayStation version is quite drastic. So I'm hoping for the same jump with Switch. Not that the Switch 2 is going to be like the PlayStation 5, but yeah,
Sure.
It looks cool. No release date though.
No. I thought that was interesting, so much so that I wrote it down to make sure there wasn't any confusion that I didn't forget to do it. But yeah, that incidentally, that's what I do when directs happen. I write everything down with these little nubbins. But then, directly afterwards, Nintendo were like, hey, the Switch 2 exists, guys.
Please
then they
watch
moved
that
on.
Direct in a few days.
Yeah, they were like, hey, there's a direct, remember? And it's like, that's all I've thought about for
Yeah.
6 weeks.
We know.
Well, there might be this thing like a Switch 2. You know, if you forgot, it's still happening.
Yeah, do you remember that, guys? I think we mentioned it at some point, you know. But then they went on with, I'm sorry I hate this title, No Sleep to Konami Date from the Somnium Files.
I'm sorry you hate that title too. That's a great title.
I played the first game. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was a little too pervy at times. And then I played a good chunk of the second one. And I also hate this title. I think it's confusing and unnecessary. I mean, the games are weird, so it's fine.
So is this the third game?
It's been a while since I've played, so the gameplay doesn't seem too different to me. But I bet some fans are gonna point out, lots of differences. But the first couple games were kind of like you're solving mysteries, you're trying to escape rooms, so it's a similar thing. It looks like the third game all in, but calling it the third game.
Okay.
And it's out July 25th.
It is.
So that's cool.
And so look forward to that if that's your bag. We also had it's spelled Rydao, but they said Raidu or something.
Oh, did they?
I don't know.
I bet we're going to be getting a lot of radio.
RAIDOU remastered The Mystery of the Soulless Army. Real-time RPG. I think it's safe to say, and I wrote down Shin Megami Tensei-esque, and then I saw a load of the demons from Shin Megami Tensei, so I'm guessing it's another game a little bit like Persona, where it is directly related. Do correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, or indeed, Xeon, if you know better.
Yes, thank you. You're totally right. This originally was a PlayStation 2 game. It has an even longer and more, not confusing name, but they did call it a Shin Megami Tensei game on the PlayStation 2. But they seemingly, Atlas has kind of dropped the theming of calling everything a Shin Megami Tensei game. Like even Persona 3 was originally Shin Megami Tensei Persona 3, and now it's just Persona 3.
Well, I suppose in a sort of a broad way, and I do mean this only in a broad way, but Persona has kind of become so much its own thing. Not that it's drastically different in story or anything like that, but it's its own entity. People think Persona.
Yeah, true.
They don't think Shin Megami Tensei Persona. I suppose a bit like how Donkey Kong is a spin-off of Mario, but people don't think Mario Donkey Kong.
Sure.
They think Donkey Kong.
When I was watching this, I was like, this looks a lot like Persona, like the combat and stuff. And then that like a snowman character pops out. Oh my god, what?
As well. It's unmistakable. It's a good design. That's coming out on the 19th of June.
Yeah, interestingly too, this is only the first game in the series, it seems. There were 2 on the PlayStation 2. So I don't know if maybe this will secretly be both of them. I think it's just going to be the first one, and maybe they'll release the second one later if it does well or whatnot. But yeah.
Do you know what isn't only the first one when there's 2?
But this is a
love me
remake, though,
segue.
right?
It's buttery smooth. Shadow Labyrinth. This is a Pac-Man-esque, as in it's actually within the universe of Pac-Man or the styling of Pac-Man.
Pac-Man?
Paco.
He is called Puck, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Which is the original name, and then people started defacing it. I don't know how true that is. I think it's entirely possible, but it could also just be an urban legend.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it. We all heard it in Scott Pilgrim, so it's gotta be true.
Yeah. So it must be true. Yeah.
Yeah, this looks really interesting. It reminded me a lot of the Ender Magnolia game that I recently got to play. Just in the art style and how it played. Looked quite similar. It's so, like, it does not look like anything with Pac-Man, and then there's just sometimes like the Pac-Man here and there is so bizarre. That comes out a day before the game we previously talked about, July 18th.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're
It
looking
does.
for...
It does look like fun. It does look like fun. It's just so weird to have that sort of juxtaposition, and the fact that it's like it seems to be taking itself quite seriously, and then it's like big Pac-Man. It's just, I don't know. I find that endearing.
It reminds me of like that, like 2000, whenever Shadow the Hedgehog came out. I think it was 2006, but we're that era where like everything wanted to be edgy, and I like that this game is doing something so unexpected.
For some reason, I thought you were going to reference the Bomberman game, like
Oh gosh, but totally, yeah.
Bomberman,
yeah, Bomberman 360, right?
Yeah, like
whatever it was called.
All I can think of is Bomberman Net Zero, and Act Zero. I think that was it.
Oh yeah,
So it was like a super hyper realistic take on Bomberman, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
But what wasn't terrible?
2 HD. Every time we mention Bomberman, I'm gonna bring that game up.
Bomberman Land Touch 2, but it's hyper realistic graphics.
Okay.
Sorry, Felix.
Hyper realistic blood copy pasta. That's not creepy. It doesn't matter. What does matter? Patapon 1+2 replay. What did this come out on originally, Xeon? Seeing as you're the one who's highlighted
This was PSP. The first, second, and third games all came out on there, which is very, very strange to me. So this is a Sony developed. Like I think this was Japan Studios made this. The team that did lots of great Sony like first party titles over the years. But the interesting thing though is Bandai Namco is publishing this along with another game that we'll get to later. But they also published Freedom Wars on Nintendo Switch. So I don't know what's going on with Bandai and Sony, but they're working together to bring a bunch of Sony games to Nintendo consoles, which is, it's just, I'm very happy about it, but it's weird. This feels like a really important thing.
It looked like my kind of game. I can't say it seemed familiar, but actually when I saw it, I thought, "Oh my god, it's a new Rhythm Heaven!" Foreshadowing.
What a shame that wasn't featured.
Yeah.
God.
I'm so gutted. But
Gonna
no,
have
it
to
looks
keep
good.
waiting.
It looks very fun. Like I always love when you have to time stuff to music and stuff.
It reminded me of an old Flash game where you got like an army to take on things.
Yeah, it did.
Do you know
look
what
like
I mean?
A Flash game. Well, there's so many Flash games I've played over the years. So I don't know exactly what you mean.
There's
but
like
if you send me a
3 Flash
picture,
games.
you might. The audacity.
The audacity of Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. And Patapon 1+2 replays coming out on the 11th of July. But Story of Seasons
Another July
Grand
game.
Bazaar. You must be the new farmer. I can't do the read. That was such a weird read. I kind of loved it and hated it at the same time.
You must be the new farmer.
I am confused about this. I know the Story of Seasons team is no strangers to remaking their old like classic games. They just remade the GameCube Another Wonderful Life entry a few years ago, and I think if I remember right, this is a remake of a DS game now. The graphics look really nice. The frame rate looks smooth. I like the new kind
For
of
the most
little
part.
glider.
I was going to say, it ain't that smooth, buddy.
The Switch one had some real issues, so I should go back and watch again. But I like the new glider as well, being able to kind of like sail through the town. I don't know how that's going to work, like if you're going to be able to like land on buildings or what.
It just goes to black and then you're standing on the ground.
You land
game
on the
crashes.
building and you damage the roof and you have to pay.
No, you land on the roof and that's where the real game begins.
And then it's
You
just
find
Pokemon
Pokemon
Legends
up there.
Yeah.
But that's coming out on the 27th of August. But you can pre-order it today, should you wish. then we got the big cheese, the great big sausage in the sandwich of this direct.
A new WarioWare game.
I know, no. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It's a big spicy inclusion, but I can't help but feel that they put this in to justify having a direct because there's not masses else from Nintendo. I mean, there are
looks great.
bits and
It looks
stuff, you
great.
know, but yeah, it does look great. Sort of the psychic powers angle
Yeah,
they've gone
that was a
for.
surprise.
Really cool. Did not see that coming personally. I didn't know what angle they were going to go with, but it's interesting. So it seems that Samus is not just going to be getting Chozo powers this time, which is interesting. And she's had non-Chozo powers before. I'm well aware of that. But, it's just fun to see a different angle. And the fact that moving things around, you've got like telekinesis, controlling the beam trajectory. That looked so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can already see that there's going to be some sort of boss where it'll never take its eyes off you and it attacks you and then its weak spot opens up, but it's actually on the back and it won't ever stop looking at you or something like
Yeah.
that. So you have to shoot and you've got to curve it around. You've got to bend it like Beckham. Get it around the back. I thought it just looked so cool. No,
I don't know if either of you played Dark Sector, but it's the main mechanic in that has like you throw this kind of like boomerang weapon that like is like this kind of like Venom symbiote like thing that comes out of
Okay.
your arm. But you throw the boomerang and you get to control the trajectory of it in first person, kind of like that. And it was so much fun, like decapitating enemies. And we're not gonna get that, I don't think, in Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, but I think the mechanic will be similar, and it was a good time there.
It's
Yeah,
like the new
there's-
Wallace and Gromit movie where they throw boots in the end. And they come back and hit the gnomes. It's great.
really?
they do.
I actually watched
Spoiler.
that today. It was great. Good morning.
There was a game, what was it, where you could throw like a shuriken or like a boomerang or something, and it would fly around and you could control it, and if it hit a wall, it would go tink. What was it? I played it not that long ago. I think it's an old game.
Well, comment
It
is,
wasn't.
you have
It
a
wasn't
mission.
Dark Sector.
No, it wasn't Dark Sector.
Okay.
It's like a... it's going to drive me mad. Let me know what it was in the comments down below. The sound was...
I feel like I also have this vision in my head as well, because I haven't played Dark Sector since like 2008 or something. But and it must have been something. Huh. Dang it.
It's going to drive me mad.
Oh well. Yep.
It's going to drive me mad. But it looks great. I'm really excited. The new red and black suit. Oh, they're going for that Shadow the Hedgehog edge.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
They also reiterated a 2025 release date, but they didn't say late. They didn't say
I was
mid.
very surprised by that. But I do think that is because they couldn't say the release date, because that would be the same as the Switch 2.
Oh, you think so?
I honestly
Yeah.
think that's my theory why they didn't say anything.
It's possible.
Because otherwise, you could have said like late year or something like that. But if they say like May or June, then everyone's going to think that's the Switch 2 release date.
Sure.
Well, we might find out in only a few days because
Yay!
Nintendo.
Very true.
Thanks,
And
Nintendo.
Speaking of the few days direct, I'm totally guessing that like the visuals here didn't look as detailed as I was hoping in the environments and the enemies. I think the cutscenes in Metroid Prime 4 looked really nice,
I do
but I was hoping
understand
for
what
a
you
bit
mean, yeah.
more in the visuals. So I'm hoping that, I mean, I know it's a big hope, but I hope that the Switch 2 version just looks better. If they do a Switch 2
there will be a lot of like fine detail lost and a lot of softness due to the fact that it was a stream.
That also, yeah.
Do bear that in mind. I do remember the I got the high quality version. I just asked Nintendo. I just emailed them and said, sort of, you got a higher quality version of the trailer that you used for Metroid Prime 4? This was the last time when they actually showed it off for the first time, and they were like, yeah, sure, send it to me. And I was like, wow, it's so much sharper. I think it just doesn't play well with compression. So with any luck, it'll look better than what we saw. Then we had, I just want to mention this briefly, Disney Villains Cursed Cafe.
My favorite.
Only because, like, the art looks good. I don't know why they're all using smartphones, but sure, whatever. The art looks good, but it does look like a really, really sort of like basic, cheap made game, which is a disappointment. I've got no major love for Disney or Disney villains or anything like that, but it was always disappointing when there's something that's a vaguely interesting idea that is like, it's just the same like 2D artwork, and it's just like I don't know. I just wanted to mention it.
It's literally
fine.
just taking, you know, how it should have ended. Half the thing with all the villains. Like it's a series where they're like,
seen
how
it.
it should have ended. And it's like all the villains have like, they meet at a cafe and stuff. It's essentially just this, which is quite funny.
That's coming out today. So if
Oh,
that's your
no.
cup of tea, grab it. Then we have Witchbrook,
Yeah.
which you can wear a traffic cone. It's a witch's hat, but it really looked like a traffic cone at one point.
I think just this game looked really pretty. And it was really cool. You can play co-op. 'Cause,
Yeah, 4-player.
Yeah, no, it just looked like a really, really fun time. Reminded me a lot of Sea of Stars in the visuals. And again, I'll have to know more about what the gameplay loop exactly is, because right now it's just, it's your witch. And that looks cool.
Yeah.
Coming out winter.
Yes.
Which,
it reminded me a bit of like the old like online MMO. I know saying online MMO is tautological.
Oh, it reminds me of
Like
a game called
Habbo
Habbo.
Hotel.
Yes, I said
Oh,
exactly
sure.
the same.
Never
second
played
you
it,
said.
but I knew people who did.
Yeah, that was very big when I grew up. I think it was actually just before, because it was like I just saw it, and then other stuff like Movie Star Planet was very, very big.
Chucklefish doesn't publish a whole lot of stuff either. They've done like Eastward and Wargroove, and usually what they do publish hits quite well. So I'm quite excited to see their name tied to this. The 4-player co-op, it's just it looks like a cute and cozy time. It's a surprisingly standout title for me in that genre, I would say.
We then moved on to a sizzle reel, which had all sorts going on, including The Eternal Life of Goldman, which is coming out in winter.
Yeah, it's got like DuckTales physics. I've seen coverage
That was
of this
in my
game
notes
before.
originally before I just started doing the dates.
Yeah. I never realized that that was the main mechanic, and I didn't grow up with DuckTales, but I know a lot of people that did, so I bet they'll be excited to customize Scrooge McDuck, aka reborn as
I'm not
Goldman.
helping you out. You got a stew in this.
Really pretty visuals.
Yeah.
Love
It did look good.
animated stuff.
We also got a look at Gradius Origins, which is a collection of a load of Gradius games, including a new one, Salamander 3, which I'm sure is pretty exciting. I've never played the Salamander games. I've played Gradius. Looks interesting enough, coming out on the 7th of August. Then we got Rift of the Necrodancer, which is out today.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I've been looking forward to that game for some time.
Yeah, me too.
And it just looks really cool. And it's like, hey, it's out today. Let's move on. It's so quick. You almost didn't get a chance to see it. It's very
Yeah, I like even like the extra paid DLC that they're releasing, like just whizzed
Yeah.
right past me as well. There's like Celeste and Pizza Tower. Was there something else too, or was it just those two?
I only remember those two.
It was sort of hinting at a third one, but I didn't recognize it, I must admit. So let us know in the comments what it was. Or if it was nothing, let us know in the comments.
I love when indies do collabs. I feel
yeah.
like they do it
It's
more
good
and
fun.
more. Like with Balatro just does it with everyone.
Yeah, Friends of Jimbo. Admittedly, it's the easiest sort of implementation they can do, but it's still fun. It's a great little crossover thing. We then got to look at Tamagotchi. Tamagotchi? I'm getting very confused because I get these words mixed up in my head. Tamagotchi, not Tomodachi.
And not Tamagotchi, like they
They
said in the
kept saying
trailer.
Tamagotchi, didn't they?
They said it like so many times that it felt like we were being conditioned into like learning the pronunciation they want us to say. It's,
I don't know.
It's driving me crazy.
Maybe it's closer to the Japanese original, but it's always Tamagotchi to me.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi. For Xeon, it's Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi.
Tamagotchi!
Gotta gotcha 'em all.
Yeah! Plaza. Coming out on the 27th of June. We then got another look. Again, I feel that this was another inclusion by Nintendo to legitimize doing a direct in a weird way.
sure.
Pokemon Legends ZA. Heracross is in it, guys. This is big.
Are you a big Heracross fan?
Oh, I love Heracross, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, my brother had a Heracross in his copy of Gold, and he used to beat the living nonsense out of me.
You'd think you hated the Pokemon then, had a
I
grudge
loved
against it, but
loved it.
That's
I
funny.
was a
Alex loved
masochist.
it. Yeah, the abuse. Oh my gosh.
It looks like the trainer can maybe take damage, which is fun.
Oh.
Nighttime initiates the ZA Royale, which is where trainers come out. Which is at least an
that's how,
interesting
okay.
wrinkle. It looks like it's going to be more populated than it is during the day, just like real Paris. I have no idea whether Paris is more populated at night.
Yeah, same. Felix?
I don't think so, but I don't know. Maybe in the weekends. In the weekends, it's more populated.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the ranking system though. That's kind of like a callback to how they did it in Legends Arceus, right? Where like you were like trying to catch as many Pokemon and add them to your encyclopedia or whatever, your Pokedex.
Pokedex.
Oh my gosh. Whoa.
Whoa! Fake Pokemon fan in the house.
Is that kind of what it's trying to redo or capture here? Does that seem like the same
I
thing?
think it's
or
a
is it
different thing entirely. It feels more like
Okay.
a sort of like a replacement for gyms and stuff like that, which is what a lot of us suspected. I didn't think it would take this form. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I dig it. Late 2025.
Yeah,
All
late
right.
2025.
I still think the game looks pretty bad, but I'm excited to see how it is.
I'm more interested now than I was before, but I am still cautious.
The city still just looks so empty.
It really
and
does.
it's so weird with like we have these sections for the Pokemon. Well, why do it in a city? They could have just done it outside the city.
I know. It's like like as an idea, it could work, but it's very difficult to pull that off. And from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like they're really embracing it in an interesting way. It just sort of feels like you're in a city. This area's cordoned
Yeah.
off for Pokemon.
Yeah, it does seem like the more I see and the more footage I see of it and the more I think about it, the less excited I am. But I think when the game comes out, I think just like the classic Pokemon games, I will throw myself completely into it and I'll have a blast catching everything. But you got to imagine like the concept art for this game initially, like how good could it have really looked if it's all just inside of the city?
You did get quickly to see the map where there was like different areas of the city. Kind of looked like different biomes or something like that.
Hey, do you want to go into a green area of the city or a slightly less green area of the city?
Yes.
You can have a tea over here.
Well, why don't we talk about something that I at least am very excited about? It's
Yes.
Rhythm Paradise Groove. Woo! That's
I
for a
can't
long
believe
time.
that this
No, okay.
Yeah.
I want to make a bigger woo. Woo! That was crazy.
when
Oh my God.
the text to speech started at the beginning, I was just kind of like, what is? Wait, I was like, I know what this is. Is it really Rhythm Heaven
I
coming
really
back?
thought it was
couldn't
Rhythm
believe
Heaven,
it.
but I was waiting until the name drop, or at least till I saw it a little bit more, because the initial graphics they showed was really weird.
Yeah.
It's not the most like appealing looking. Even when you look at the trailer, like the picture, it's like, at least compared to like Rhythm Heaven Megamix, where that's like really colorful and cool
Yeah.
looking and stuff.
And the visuals they're always so different. Like even
That's true.
like the first mini game in the original Rhythm Heaven is like you're in like a factory, like sliding.
I mean, that's the cool thing about Rhythm Heaven. You never know what's going to happen. They're so weird. I loved the 3DS one. It was great. Really,
that's
really.
right.
I cannot wait for this one because it looks like they just keep going weird and stuff, and they have weird, bad looking art styles, and then they have great looking art styles. There's well, there is an in between, but there's not. You have to have both.
It's a
I
little
can't say
bit
that I'm-
WarioWare in that way, isn't it? But there's
Yeah,
no
it is so
consistency
all-
and they embrace that.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say I've ever like recognized the artist or like the musicians who have worked on the past Rhythm Heaven games. But they made a call out to that artist this time.
Yeah.
Do either of you guys know? Did you dig into like if that's the same artist from past games or if it's someone brand new or anything?
I just joined this call with my notes.
I have
No,
no
it's okay.
time to.
I have no idea. I have no clue. So
But I'll check it up right after we call.
cool. Yeah, if someone knows, let us know down below. as well.
That was
I
one of the
need to know.
biggest, most exciting things for me.
I know a lot of people have been clamoring for this for a long time, and it's really cool to see it look like we're finally going to get a new one. And
Yeah.
I finally worked out which region calls it Rhythm Heaven and which region calls it Rhythm Paradise. Because in my notes, I watched the UK one, it said Rhythm Paradise.
Oh, interesting.
I like it when they do those distinctions because it means I can read the dates without losing my mind.
Well, in the Japanese one, it's probably like I think it's Rhythm Tengoku. Rhythm Tengoku Groove.
Of course, it would have to
I
be
guess.
something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. Trying to look up Japanese versions of the game becomes difficult then when you're just looking for Rhythm Heaven or Rhythm Paradise.
But that's coming out in 2026.
It's been 10 years almost since the last one came out in 2015. Megamix, which is the one I played.
It will be over when it comes out.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, 2026. Oh,
You're totally right though, Alex. This is basically like it's like Star Fox or F-Zero getting a new game for like a certain demographic of people, and so it's a big deal. It really is.
It really is. And I've played bits of Rhythm Heaven.
Uh-huh.
I've never properly played one, so I'm really excited to give this a go. And even if I don't end up actually getting the game, maybe one of you two could loan it to me. Because
Well, how could we do that, Alex? I mean,
Alex, what are you talking about?
well,
what if it gets a digital only release? What will
it
we
is a
do
digital-
then?
Well, we don't know, but what you can do is using an exploit and a hack. No, Nintendo announced next virtual game cards. which
Virtual game
basically-
cards.
So basically, what it boils down to is when you get a digital version of a game, you get essentially a key, like a virtual or digital game card, just a little virtual game card. You don't have to put it in, you just, you download it and it's on your console and you go, okay, sure. And then, rather than it being stuck there, you can just transfer it to another Switch you own, if you like. So you don't have to be doing that online check that you have to do at the moment currently. Better yet, you can then send that and lend it to a friend if they're within your family group. So that's something to bear in mind. You can lend it to them for 14 days. And you can't play it during that time, which is, I think, entirely fair. But you can just send it to them. They can play it free of charge. That's really
I am so happy about
really good idea.
it. Really, really excited.
I mean,
Yeah,
I-
how do you feel?
It's
Felix?
probably not a new idea. Other things have probably done it. I think you can do it on Steam and stuff. But Nintendo are doing it.
It's just really cool that I can finally, I know people who've never played Mario Odyssey, and I can just be like, hey, you, here it is. I'm lending it to you because Mario Odyssey is one of those games I don't have physically. I have a lot of games digitally,
Sure.
and some of them I want to be able to share those games. So it's just really, really fantastic.
I mean, that has always been a
yeah.
huge reason for me to buy physical games is then when I'm done with it, right, I can lend it to a friend. The other day, I just bought Nier Automata on Switch physically, even though I already have it digitally on Switch and I have the PlayStation 4 version, but I bought it digitally on Switch because A, it runs so well, and B, I want to lend it to people and let them play the game and experience it, and being able to even have a small way to lend games to friends now digitally is huge.
Fantastic. Like my little brother has started to play a lot, and he doesn't have a lot of games. Where it was just I do like lending out my physical games, but there's also the thing that it takes a long time for me to get them back.
Sure.
Because then you lend them out and then you forget, and it's like, hey, can I get it? And then they forget, and then I lended out my copy of Kirby and the Forgotten Land to a friend, and it took a year for me to get it again. So it's just it's so much easier to be like, hey, I can lend it to you. In 14 days, I'll get it back. Or then if you want to play more, I can do it again. It's actually a really cool system, which I did not expect Nintendo to do this.
No.
This is very un-Nintendo, which is great.
I also think that there's a benefit for us in our line of work because I've had to, not had to, but I've chosen to lend games to my brother in the past. And he's like, hey, can I borrow Metroid Dread? And I'm like, sure. And I send him Dread. And then all of a sudden, I need to do a video and I need some Dread footage. And it's like, Sai? His name's
Absolutely.
Simon. I need that back. And he's like, oh, okay. And I did say to him, I may need it back, within a short window. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. But now I can just send it to him. And then if it's like, oh, Sai, I need it back. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. Just bring it back digitally. Not that I have it digitally, but if I did. And then, I can use it again and then lend it back to him. You do have to do the first sort of lending through local wireless. So you can't do it over the internet, which is a limitation. I do understand it, but it is a little disappointing. Maybe they'll change it in the future.
Sure.
That's coming in April. And you will be able to also do it with Nintendo Switch 2 consoles.
That's so exciting. Gosh.
It's just nice to hear them talk about it, to be honest.
Yeah. And even though we're losing gold coins. I mean, I know, or gold points, or whatever you want to call them. I know that if you have some still, they're still available for the next year or whatever. But we're not earning any anymore. And so this is kind of a new incentive, a new reason to buy digital over physical. And I don't think it's like swayed me to buy digital. I'm still going to buy physical if I can have the choice. But a lot of people prefer it.
It does
so
make
this is great.
digital a lot more enticing.
Yeah.
It does. It almost sort of like levels the playing field between the two.
Yeah.
You could even argue that now digital is even more convenient
Yeah.
because, you know, sort of you can lend, you know, you can just have it wherever you go. You don't have to carry a load of carts with you. There's arguments to be had, I'm sure, in a
Alex,
future video.
I'll send you my Switch to you, and then you can do the local wireless. You'll send it back, and then we can. People are gonna do that if that's how.
Oh
it
yeah,
works.
people will.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it. Yeah.
I was just thinking about like, man, it'd be really fun to like share games with my buddy Brendan who lives in Portland. But yeah, I can't. How do I do that? And that's such a good idea. It's so stupid, but
there might be a way to spoof a local connection. It's not impossible. Using a couple of routers and stuff like that. A couple of Raspberry Pis, easy. Not easy,
But that
but
was
possible.
I think that was the biggest thing for me. during the
Yeah, it was a big
presentation.
deal.
That was a very big deal.
Yeah.
yeah.
We then got a sizzle reel showing off a number of games, including High on Life coming on the 6th of May, which was a bit of a surprise. Star Overdrive on the 10th of April, The Wandering Village on the 17th of July, King of Meat in 2025, Lose Lagoon, Summer 2025.
I
and
like
then-
the look of that game. Just
Oh.
by the way, Lose Lagoon. It looks really cute and the fun art style, cool platformer. I want to check more of that out. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
I cannot remember what it is.
It was,
I'm gonna-
But then-
it wasn't shown for very long at all. It was just sizzle reel stuff,
Yeah. And then we got a middling look at Fantasy Life I, the girl who steals time.
which was running terribly, especially with like multiple people. It was running really badly.
Yeah. I'm really worried.
Delayed so much.
Sorry,
That's how bad. That's how bad it was
That's
running.
how bad it was. It made me say really in a way that crackled my throat.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that game. I obviously,
Yeah.
right? We don't. It's
Hasn't it been?
It's also-
wasn't it supposed to come out like years ago as well or something?
yeah. I think so.
It's also coming to other platforms, I'm pretty sure, because I remember seeing a trailer where it,
okay.
like,
I think
looks,
it is,
it
yeah.
looks really crisp and just runs nice.
Okay.
It's a shame when the hardware comes in the way of the game.
Yeah.
It is. It is. Although, truth be told, it's not the hardware that's holding it back. The hardware is capable. For a game like that, it just doesn't need to be more powerful. I'm just putting it out there, guys. But then we got a look at Saga Frontier 2 Remastered. That's coming out today as well, Shadow Drop. We then saw that I did not expect this Monument
No.
Valley and Monument Valley 2 and Monument Valley 3.
Yeah.
That was a
These
surprise.
are, if I remember correctly, you can play these at least on the iPhone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's where they started.
Is it only iPhone? I can't remember if it's only mobile. I just remember it was like, oh, I need to play these on my mobile phone with like Apple Arcade or something like that. But that's really cool. I feel like they fit really well on the Switch, and that's really nice to see. And they look like a really interesting time playing with perspective. In
Yeah.
weird ways. I've also just heard really good stuff about the games.
Oh yeah, they were
Yeah.
classics for the time. I remember like it was almost like a kind of a watershed moment for mobile gaming because it was like, hey, it's like actually good. No, it's actually sort of like a new and interesting experience, and hey, it's exclusive to iOS, and maybe it was Android as well. I can't remember, but it was exclusive to mobile platforms, and that was a big deal at the time. And Monument Valley 3, I'm intrigued.
You could say it was these games were monumental for mobile.
I could see that coming as soon as you said you could say, and I was like, I know what he's going to say.
But hey, widescreen support. It's good.
Yeah,
Good
it's
thing.
better than Portrait. 1 and 2 are coming out on the 15th of April, and Monument Valley 3 is coming out in summer. Some people would say that April is summer. They're wrong, but some people might say it. Then we had a look at Everybody's Golf Hot Shots. Nice on.
This is so interesting because in America, at least, I don't know about in Europe, but in America, Hot Shots Golf, the golfing series from PlayStation was called Hot Shots. And in Japan, it was Everybody's Golf. And then they released the games on PS4 and they called it Everybody's Golf. And now it's called Everybody's Golf Hot Shots.
It's Resident Evil Biohazard all over again, isn't it?
You're totally right. But it's another thing where it's Bandai Namco published, and it's a Sony. Originally, it's a Sony developed game. I think Clap Hands is the original developer of these games, if I remember right. And they've put out golf games on Switch before. They did.
Thank you, everyone, for joining in, by the way.
Clap Hands Golf or something. I'm really, this is just like, I'm not even that excited about the game itself, but just the fact that we're getting another like previously Sony exclusive franchise on Switch is really just throwing me for a loop. I need to dig into these more and see what's going on. Maybe Sony's loosening their reins kind of like Microsoft, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just money left on the table otherwise, but it looks fun.
Yeah, I think it looks fine.
I think it looks a bit bad.
Do you even like golf games?
I do. I love Wii Sports Golf, and that's got me covered. I don't need a new golf.
Yeah,
game
I like
right now.
golf games, but I don't like golf. I don't like the elitism as much as anything.
I
Fair,
played golf
fair.
once.
It's also a
and it
huge
was-
amount of wasted space. Like all that space you're just using to play a little game with a little ball.
But it's very relaxing.
It is.
It's
It's-
very fun, but also so hard. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Like it is so much harder than one thinks after playing Wii Sports Golf.
Absolutely. I went to a shooting range for the first time. Driving range, that's what they call them. For the
That's
first
fun.
time.
Just trying
You went to a
whack it as
drive-by
far.
shooting range.
Yep. America's weird. And I also did very, very, very bad, but it was fun.
What about a drive-through driving range? That would be so American.
Just out of the car.
It's a McDonald's crossover.
It could be. Or it could be Pizza Hut. I've forgotten all the American places.
I guess Pizza Hut does have
I
kind of.
was going to say
drive-through,
New
but
York,
it's
and my
more-
brain said Times New Roman.
Oh, this is coming out this year as well.
Yes. Back to the topic at hand.
Alex is losing his mind.
We
well,
then got
Cian
a
is
look.
also losing his mind about this next one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Marvel.
I was really excited.
Cosmic Invasion.
I'm not even that big of like a Marvel fan, but I love
Same.
that we're finally getting a Marvel beat 'em up game again. These were like a dime a dozen on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis back in the day, but this new one is being developed by the Scott Pilgrim team and the Streets of Rage team. And the
It looks so good.
Shredder's Revenge team. Yeah, it looks really nice, doesn't it?
Really, really great. Lots of different characters. Not
I've
six
never
player
seen.
though.
True, that's true. I mean, 4-player. I've never played a beat 'em up 6-player before, so I'm fine with 4.
No,
But the-
no. It
the
is
one
cool.
thing,
Yeah.
the one thing this game does that was really felt different to me was that you can have like 2 characters at the same time on your quote unquote team. So kind of like a fighting game like Marvel vs. Capcom where you tag them in and out, or
Yeah.
Tekken tag, I guess. But I've never seen that in a beat 'em up before. So I don't know if you'll switch to them or if they'll kind of like if you can summon them and they'll like do a special attack for you or what. But it's nice to see another beat 'em up coming from these acclaimed teams and in good style. The art looks really nice.
Oh,
doesn't
it does look gorgeous. Yeah. No one can deny
Yeah.
that. Well, you
Winter.
could, but you'd be wrong.
Winter this year.
Winter. Woo. Tomodachi Life, living the dream.
A game that doesn't take place in winter and is not releasing in winter.
No.
Maybe.
They
Actually, don't
basically, this is basically just a tease. Another Tomodachi Life game.
Wow. I freaked out. Okay. Who else thought it was Animal Crossing?
Yeah, briefly, I thought it was Animal Crossing.
I
as
was
well.
like, oh my god, no way. Animal Crossing? What?
Another one?
And then, it's not Animal Crossing. Oh my god, it's Tomodachi Life. Yeah. It's,
You can see why I mispronounced Tamagotchi earlier now, can't you?
That's huge.
It
also,
is.
10 years since the last one.
Oh, has it really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know
I mean,
that
they said that in
because-
the direct.
Yeah, I got...
Oh, that's right. When you started, yeah.
Yeah, I got this job indirectly because of Tomodachi Life.
Oh, wow.
Because there was like a caption competition on NintendoLife.com. Go there. And it was just like, it was Satoru Iwata's me, like going up to the piggy bank, like you donate in the 3DS game, you get these donations, and I captioned it something along the lines of Iwata checks Nintendo's profits for the year or something, because it was a really bad year for Nintendo. That won me the caption competition. It got me Damo's email, and I said, hey, can I write stuff for you? And apparently that was the single most eloquent email he's ever received. I didn't say, hey, can I write stuff for you? I said other stuff. And that's where I got my first writing gig. And then here we are, 10 years later.
So you're going to start up a caption contest on Nintendo Life for this new one, yeah? In 2026?
Yeah,
I will have to speak to other people before I agree to that.
And then we get a new person on the team through that. That'd be cool.
That would be
Alex
interesting.
2.0.
Yeah. There wasn't really much to show here. It's coming 2026, which feels...
We have the funny voices still. Which
Yeah,
is
the
nice.
text-to-speech.
They do, yeah.
I thought I'd written that down. Maybe I hadn't.
Why
Maybe
does
I
it
was...
say
You
bloody
didn't,
wars?
but
that was just my reaction. It was just bloody wars.
but you
okay.
wrote text to speech in Rhythm Heaven, so maybe that's where your head's at.
That's probably what I'm thinking of, yeah. But yeah, the text-to-speech is back. It's weird. It's uncanny. It's an absolutely essential part of Tomodachi Life, in my opinion.
It looks great.
It does. Visually, I noticed that they seem to be operating at a lower frame rate, but the game itself seems to be running at a better frame. I don't quite know what's going on. I'd need to
Interesting.
properly sit down and analyze the footage, but admittedly, the older games definitely had a lower frame rate as well, so I don't know whether it's an intentional stylistic choice. But it's
Sure.
not going to be a taxing game, to say the least, so I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's
Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I'm a little miffed that it actually is taking place on an island, because we spent so much time with Animal Crossing New Horizons that, like, I'm a little tired of island life. It's dumb because I can't think of other games that have, that I've spent a lot of time with that have also been on an island. But I think with this game just kind of catering to like a similar audience, I'm interested. I'd be interested to learn like why they chose the island instead.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also an island in the last one.
I think it
Oh,
was,
was it
actually,
really?
yeah.
I just
But it was
remember the
mostly
apartment
in
complex, but
in the block of flats, wasn't it?
yeah.
That
Yeah,
may
wait,
still be the
here-
case.
Here now, I guess I didn't analyze the trailer. I just watched it once in the direct as well. But you've got all sorts of shops kind of scattered around the island, and it
Yeah.
looks so Animal Crossing-esque. It really
Does. Living the dream. Maybe it's using the same engine and using, sort of the same art direction, because, I mean, it works very well for it, so I
Yeah.
don't see why they shouldn't.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see more, but also 2026.
Yeah,
But it's called Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. And it appears that dreams are going to be a big thing. But dreams were a big thing in the old one as well. Everyone remembers
Oh,
dancing
right.
around the Virtual Boy going, all hail the Virtual Boy.
that's right. Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of like shenanigans our armies can get up to in this one. I imagine it's going to make a lot of really ridiculous gifs and social media moments, kind of like
Mies are not dead.
Miitopia did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Finally, like I mean, we've seen appearances of Mies over the years, but yeah, it's been a
looked
while
a
since
bit
they've gotten
They've been on the
around.
back
Okay.
burner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Unlike Miyamoto popping up,
Oh,
he popped up, confirmed that directs are continuing. I think that when he said that, I was just like, sort of, we've been doing directs for
thought
like
they were
since
ending
2011.
directs
I'm
for
like,
a second.
Don't stop doing
And we're bringing it to an end now with Switch 2.
Yeah. But no,
So
they said
so
directs are still gonna go on. They're still gonna happen.
Yeah.
Don't worry, your little socks. I'm paraphrasing, but they have announced a new app for your mobile device called Nintendo Today. It's got an exclamation mark in it, so I think that's the official
oh, does
pronunciation.
it? Cute.
Yeah, I seem to notice that someone removed it from my notes, so I put it back. It's basically a little daily news app for Nintendo stuff. That's about it. It's basically Twitter if it was good. And it's
Yeah,
an
so
excuse
you-
for Nintendo to move away from Twitter, which we all need. We all need an excuse to move away from Twitter these days. And yeah, it looks fun. I think initially there was like some of us at Nintendo Life were like, oh no, they're going to take our job. No. It's little daily updates, and stuff like that. It's, if anything, going to be a good source for us,
Yeah, genuinely, it's more stuff for us to cover. Like it looks like they're going to be bringing back a lot of the things from like the Nintendo Power days, or even the Wii U days with Miiverse and stuff like that. Where like I guess they never really released like comic books in Miiverse, but here you see that they're releasing like a little weekly or monthly Pikmin series. It looks like, and it looks really cute, and so we're going to be able to wake up to our Nintendo alarm clock. We're going to be able to check our Nintendo today. We're going to go
listen
check
to Nintendo music.
Oh, yep. We're going to check Nintendo Life every day,
Nintendo's the new Apple.
like we do, right? And then we're going to get to play our Switch, and then we're going to get to do our jobs and check Nintendo Today again, fall asleep to Nintendo Alarmo.
That'd be like daily stuff after the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct about the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Which we should stay
Oh,
tuned for
right.
that.
Yeah.
So I think it looks great. It's going to be nice. Another reason I can use that instead of social media.
Yeah.
Just good like, because you get a lot of the news that you need, like at least on this channel. If we need to do something about news, it's on social media, so you kind of have to be there. But now it's like, I can just check the app. It's nice. I like that.
I mean, I generally wait for emails and stuff like that because I haven't used Twitter in a very long time, which I'm very pleased about. Not trying to sound smug or anything, but I deleted my account, and you need an account to look at stuff these days anyway, and I just don't want to feed into that whole
Yeah, it's nice to have
thing.
another way to get the news, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Although I don't think we're going to be getting political updates on Nintendo Today.
We're going to get leaks.
Good point.
Who knows? Maybe Miyamoto will add us to the group chat or something.
I
And we'll
can't wait.
learn
I can't wait to see Miyamoto's posts on Nintendo Today. Hello, this is Miyamoto.
The
Blurry
leak of the
photos.
Switch 2 is not real. Do not believe it.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, lordy Lou. Anyway, that was the Direct. Very quickly, Xeon, out of 10, what would you give it?
Gosh, I think it's a 5 for me. There are things in here that I'm excited about. I love Rhythm Heaven. I like the idea of Nintendo Today. The digital game sharing is really cool. Metroid Prime, I'm glad we got a good look, but there was nothing beyond Rhythm Heaven. I think there was nothing in here that I'm like jumping out of my seat to play. And I think Directs often bring us things like that. So, so a 5 is where I sit today.
Felix?
What about you?
I am on a 7 because there's a lot of stuff I wasn't excited about, but I am very excited for Rhythm Heaven, and I'm very excited for Tomodachi Life. What else? Where virtual game cards is also a huge thing for me. Really like that. Witchbrook also looks cool. Metroid Prime 4 was cool to get a new look at. But yeah, there was also just a lot of stuff I didn't care for. So yeah, it's a 7. I feel like it would be. I cannot go lower with 2 games I really wanted and we got. So yeah. What about you, Alex?
I think I give it a 6. Similar sort of sentiment, but it just, for me, I'm a sucker for the little details and like the new ideas that are coming out, like the new app and the game sharing thing, the virtual game cards. I really lap that stuff up. I just like for them to sit down and just talk to us about things. For some reason, I just really like that. Maybe because it reminds me of old Directs and stuff like that. But it's just nice. But there was a lot of filler here. Sort of no disrespect to the games themselves, but personally for me, it felt like a lot of filler, and it didn't feel like there was that much need for a Direct, as I've kind of alluded to. And could have been an email. I suppose it's just enough. It's just enough for a Direct in my eyes. If it was any less, just an email would have been fine. That sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we all love remakes and remasters from time to time, but there were a lot of them in here once again.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of like lowered the number for me was, I just want new stuff. So.
Yeah. But anyway, that's what we think. What do you think? Let us know with a comment down below. But for now, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you... I should have thought this far ahead. Well, directly interact with that subscribe button. That's the worst one I've done in a long time. And be sure to check out NintendoLive.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye. That was rough. That was such a bad outro. I
Oh,
love
dude,
it.
so okay.
Everyone put on your best faces.